This is Ira with The Secret Life of Vets. Today we're talking about what you should do if you're involved with a medical mistake. And if you've been practicing medicine for any period of time, eventually, unfortunately, something like this is likely to happen to you. None of us are immune to this, and I'm no exception to that. The principles I tried to keep in mind when I've been involved in these sorts of scenarios are a few things. First one is to be honest. I mean, don't try to hide your mistakes. 9 times out of 10, any sort of cover up or trying to hide your mistake ends up being even worse than whatever the original mistake was to begin with, which in almost all instances was just an honest error that was made. The second thing is to take responsibility for what's gone wrong, and that can mean a few things. I mean, there's always some excuse for why something happened and why it might not be 100% your fault, but if you're the one that's in charge of that case, you've got to take responsibility and feel like ultimately like the buck's got to stop with you. Even if there was some procedure that wasn't your fault or wasn't followed, I mean, you're responsible for making sure that things go right when it's your patients. And taking responsibility can mean for if there's complications related to that mistake that potentially you and your clinic needs to financially assume the responsibilities for doing everything that can be done to fix that mistake. Communicating openly and honestly with the pet owner about what's going on and doing everything in your power to fix that mistake, whether that means medically, financially, or otherwise, trying to do everything in your power to get things back to the way they would have been without that mistake having been made. And it's hard. You have to be prepared for some pretty strong emotional reactions from people. Obviously, nobody's happy when mistakes happen, and not everybody is going to be understanding that mistakes happen. But at least in my experience, if you're honest, you show genuine sort of concern and remorse for what's happened, and take all the steps that you can to fix that error. Over a short period of time, people come back to your team and want to work with you to get things done so that things are right for their pet. And then last but not least, when a mistake's happened, always try to go back, look at what's happened and why, and see if you can create a change in how things are done in your clinic so that mistake doesn't happen again, and also communicate that change to the person that the mistake happened to. You'd be surprised at how often people just want to know that the mistake that happened in their case won't be repeated again because you've made a significant change to how you do things to prevent that from happening in the future. So that's my advice. This is Ira with The Secret Life of Vets. This is Ira, and you're watching The Secret Life of Vets.